Hey everyone, Mr. Gilbertson here. I started recording this video and it was too wobbly, so I'm re-recording it here. Alright, so we're in Unit 3, Lesson 4, Mixed Numbers. Basically, a mixed number is when you have a whole number plus a fraction as well. We're going to come in contact with some improper fractions, which are when the numerator, the top number, is higher than the denominator, the lower one. And then we're going to change it to mixed numbers. Alright, so number 1, letter A, is 2/3 plus 1/2. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, the rule of thumb would be to multiply the opposite side by the denominator of the other side. So for example, this side, I multiplied the top and the bottom by 2, which came from here. And on this side, I multiply the top and the bottom by 3, which comes from here. Okay, and we do that. 2 times 2 is 4, and then 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now our denominator is the same, and we can add our numerators together. Okay, so that's going to equal in sixths, but 4 plus 3 is 7. So this is an improper fraction. Okay, the number on the top is greater than the number on the bottom. So what we're going to do is something that like lessons 1 and 2 really were trying to get us to practice in, but basically realizing that we have more than a whole here. To get one whole piece, I would need 6 sixths. Okay, then basically how many sixths would I have left over? If I had 7 sixths and I took 6 away, that would give me 1/6 left. Okay, so again, I got 7 sixths by adding 4 and 3 here, and then I broke that down into 6 sixths plus 1/6. Okay, and then you can further break this down. 6 sixths equals 1, and then plus 1/6. So your final answer would be 1 and 1/6. Okay, I know it's kind of going pretty far over there. I'm glad you can still see it though. All right. Letter C, 1/2 plus 3/5. Okay. So what I'm going to do is kind of like for letter A, I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by it. Times 2, times 2. Okay. And then this one right here, I'm going to multiply everything by the 5 here. So 1 times 5 and 2 times 5. Okay. That's going to give me down here 5/10 plus 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 2 is 10. So now we're working with tenths. Pretty easy. So I know that my answer is going to be in tenths, but it's going to be something over that. 5 plus 6 is 11 actually. So again, we have a greater numerator than a denominator. That kind of looks like a 6, doesn't it? That's a 0. So, ladies and gentlemen, kind of the same thing here. I know that if I have 10 tenths, that's going to, 10 tenths, that's going to equal 1. Okay, but I have 11 tenths. So how many tenths will I have left over? Basically, it's a simple 11 minus 10 equals 1. So I can say 11 tenths is equal to 10 tenths plus 1/10. And that is totally right. But then I can further break that down by saying 10 tenths is equal to 1 plus 1/10. And then I could say that equals 1 and 1/10 as our mixed number answer. Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do a few steps here. We have to get the lowest common denominator. Then we have to add the 2 fractions together. In this case, in the case of letter A, we had an improper fraction with the numerator higher. We broke those down into a whole number plus a fraction to get our final answers. Okay, letter E is a little trickier. Let's give it a whirl here. Now, these last two, letter A and C, what I did was I multiplied this whole side by the 5 and this whole side by 2. But 4 and 6 actually have a lower common denominator that isn't 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24, but those two numbers actually meet up before that. So knowing your multiplication tables is really going to help in this kind of problem. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip count by 4s over here. I think you can still see it. Okay, so 4, 8, 12, 16. And then I'm going to skip count by 6s with red next to it. 6, 12, look at that. Okay, so fourths and sixths will have the lowest common denominator of 12. So instead of multiplying this whole side by 4 and multiplying this whole side by 6, I need to multiply this side and this side by a number that's going to give me 12 on the bottom. Okay, now that may sound kind of wacky, but just follow along. To get 12 on the bottom here, I need to multiply this by 3. 4 times 3 is 12, right? So that means I also have to multiply the top by 3. Okay, and that will eventually give me 9 over 12, and that's an equivalent fraction to 3/4. Okay, I'll use purple over here for this one. Now to get 6 to 12, I need to multiply it by 2, which means I also have to multiply the top by 2. So that would give me 10 twelfths. Okay, and then now I can add these two fractions together. Okay, I know it's going to be over 12. But 9 plus 10 gives me 19. Okay, so I know I have more than one total, okay, but I don't have 2 quite yet. So I can break this down by saying, okay, I know 19 twelfths is going to be equal to 12 twelfths, because I know 12 twelfths is 1. Okay, so this is greater than 1, but it's not quite 2. So I'm going to say, okay, so 12 twelfths plus how many twelfths are left over? If you're not sure, what I would do is take this numerator and subtract this one. So 19 minus 12 is going to give me 7 left over. So I can say 19 twelfths is equal to 12 twelfths plus 7 twelfths. Okay. I can also say that this is equal to 1 and plus 7 twelfths. And then you can also finally get to your final answer here. Keep switching colors. Is 1 and 7 twelfths. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, again, mixed numbers as your answer are going to be what we're looking for today. Again, if you're not sure about how to change a improper fraction like 19 twelfths into, oh, sorry, you can't see that. There you go. Anyway, changing an improper fraction like 19 twelfths into a mixed number, again, just think about what it would take to make one whole and then how many pieces you have left over. So again, in this case, 12 twelfths is one whole. We have 7 pieces left over. So our answer would be 1 and 7 twelfths. Okay, hopefully everyone is getting this. We did this in class, I don't know, maybe in February. So it's not too far removed. Hopefully everyone understands. And if you have any more questions, let me know. Have a good day. Bye.